Hi, welcome to the Bitcoin crypto update. Today's April 13th. I'd like to talk about the Bitcoin halving coming up. If you'd like to know more about it, stay tuned. Also, subscribe to my channel, and I will be covering the Bitcoin halving for the next 5 weeks. We're about 5 weeks out right now from it in general. I anticipate some fluctuations in the price. Typically, the price leading up to a halving would run up, and then at some point we end up having a sell-off, and a lot of people are going to attempt to capitalize on that. Some people might already have their positions. They might already know that the halving is happening, so they've already bought their Bitcoin ahead of it, stuff like that. That's what people say it could already be priced in, so maybe we don't have a big run-up at the last minute. I think it's doubtful that everybody has already made their positions, though. It's doubtful you can make a fair argument. I've heard fair arguments as to why it's not already priced in full. If you're not familiar with the halving, Bitcoin came out following the crash of 2008. It was created, and around 2009. At the time, you have miners who create, well, not even at the time, now, currently, so we have miners that they create these tokens into existence. They mine them. They're miners. You have people who mine gold out of the ground. It's a physical item. So this is electronic, it's digital mining. People buy they buy different computers, they use computing power, different equipment, and electricity. And they add to the blockchain. They mine blocks. And they're rewarded for each block with Bitcoin. So originally, when Bitcoin first came out, the reward was 50 Bitcoin per block. Then after the first halving, it went down to 25 Bitcoin. After the second halving, it went down to 12 and a half. So here we are, we're gonna have the third halving. They happen every 4 years. We've got the third halving happening here in 2020, about 5 weeks out. And the reward rate is going to be cut down to 6.25 Bitcoin per block. What this does is it creates scarcity. The idea of supply and demand is pretty straightforward. And what's happening is the supply of Bitcoin, we're not going to be able to create more and more and more. It's capped off. The total number of Bitcoin that we will ever have is 21 million. So currently we've got about 18. We're a little over 18 million Bitcoin currently that have been created, that have been mined into creation. So it will top out at 21 million. So that last handful of Bitcoin, the last handful of millions of Bitcoin we have left to be created are going to be created slower and slower and slower as the reward rate keeps dropping down every 4 years. So like they've created the first 18 million Bitcoin in, 10 years roughly. The remaining 3 or 4 million Bitcoin are going to take, another 80 or 90 years or something to create. It's going to take a long time due to the reduction in the reward rate. So it creates scarcity. It adds value. Historically, if you look on a chart at any time that Bitcoin has had a halving, what happens is you go up, then it would have, and then there would always be a little sell-off afterwards in the back end. But ultimately, the price would stay up. The price, it absolutely reflects in the price. So it's exciting, I would actually encourage people, if it's me, okay, what I would tell people also, what I would do with my own money right now, okay, what I am doing with my own money actually, pertaining to the Bitcoin halving is I'm getting a position in Bitcoin Cash. Bitcoin Cash tends to be more volatile than Bitcoin. The swings are higher and they're lower. Bitcoin is the least volatile of all tokens, period. So, Bitcoin Cash has a much, much higher ceiling right now. There's more potential for a higher gain. It's likely Bitcoin Cash will have a higher gain right now during the halving. When Bitcoin goes up, it's going to take Bitcoin Cash with it. It's going to take Bitcoin Gold, Bitcoin SV. All the different forks that we've had off of Bitcoin will go with it. Bitcoin Cash is the most notable of all the forks that are out there. It's likely it will grow higher and quicker than actual Bitcoin during this halving. So that's where I would put my money. So, if you want to stay tuned, I'm going to keep you up to date. This is what I do. I look at the numbers out there. I look at the information that's available. If anybody tells you they're going to call the true top or the true bottom, don't believe them. I'd be very suspect of that. The best we can do is look at the data and try to time the top and bottom the best we can. We'll never get it perfect, and that's okay. If you called it perfect with Litecoin had a halving this year. If you'd call it perfectly, you would have bought in at Litecoin at about 25 bucks. You would have sold at about 125, 130. There would have been a 400 or 500% return. But without being that good, because that's hard to do. It's not that realistic. So with just minimal effort and a little bit of research, you could have easily cleared a solid 200% gain. Compared to conventional finance, the stock markets, the S&P, Dow, that's 20 years of 10% growth in the Dow, compared to a couple weeks of Litecoin moving quickly. Most of that movement in Litecoin happened primarily over a couple weeks, couple real crucial weeks. I mean, it was slowly going up, but then you had a couple weeks in particular where a lot of the action really happened. So right now we are getting to those couple crucial weeks with Bitcoin. So it's a good time to be paying attention. And that's what I do. So I'm going to be putting out a halving update at least once a week right now until the halving. I'll have other crypto videos in general as well, finance in general. But, keep posted, because I will be putting one of these out weekly until we have this happen. We'll do the best we can to time it out and see if we can capitalize on it. So, okay, if you find any value to this video, give me a thumbs up, subscribe, share it, and jump down to the comment section, leave a few comments. If you know anything I don't know, I'd love to hear it. Thank you. Bye.